In 2016, the last review was done, and at that point in time, the fuel prices, you've been told, was about 93 or thereabout, and 18 shillings for every 93 was able to at least maintain the roads. Now, we're talking about fuel prices of 170, and we're still collecting 18 shillings per litre. The other issue that we need to talk to, I'm sure you've talked up, so the purchasing power of the 18 shillings per litre now is not what was the purchasing power in 2016, considering the cost of tarmac, the cost of materials that are being used for construction, the cost also of labor, and so forth. Number two, and I'm sure you've been taken through this, I just wanted to buttress them, is that you have, and I'm talking about prices. Number two is the growth of the road network. Our road network has continued to grow. We are actually one of the most networked countries in the region, with a total length of roads being in the country being about 239,122 today. In 2016. Part of the reason why our roads have grown robustly very fast is devolution. Because of devolution, many of the county governments have constructed their roads. And then because it's the road of Kenya Roads Board to do classification, the county governments that came in 2013 started a good job, but because they could not keep it at that standard, those roads were moved to national government. So the road network kept increasing in the national government, and you can see in Kera that it moved from 19,000 to 28,000 kilometers of roads that is being managed within Kera. Why? Because that graduation happened in the rural areas to the rural roads managed by national government, so that the county government can also open new roads and maintain them. You have Kenya has now 23,000 kilometers of roads, and you have Kura, which was meant to do just a few towns in the country, is now maintaining 4,400 kilometers of roads. So you have an extra 61,000 kilometers of roads in the last. That is from 2016. That means in the last 8 years, you've grown about 61,000 kilometers of roads. Some of the roads that were done under Jubilee administration in 2013 under the Road 10,000 program, we were able to grow the roads by 10,000 kilometers, of course, to tarmac them. But we didn't manage to reach really 10,000. You are about 6,000 plus of the 10,000 that was supposed to be achieved. That is why we still have pending bills, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. We have a pending bill of the targeted 10,000 kilometers of roads that are yet to be completed, of 165 billion shillings. This pending bill did not come with the current administration. Even by the time we came to office, I came and found a pending bill of 150 billion. Meaning that for 2, 3, 4 years before we came to office, we have been unable to pay our contractors, as a country, and therefore unable to sustain. Why? Because the budget every year was about 50 billion, and the commitment is 150. Last year we were given a budget of 51 billion. It came from 72, revised 51. But we have closed the year only having received 25 billion. We haven't received 26 billion. What does that mean? We can have as beautiful budget as possible, but if we are not raising revenue, we will not be able to achieve the construction and completion of these roads. What has that done? So many contractors have not been paid, meaning they are unable to make money circulate in the economy. So many contractors have not been paid, meaning that most of our young people who are working with them are not getting jobs. So circulation of money in the economy, it's even worse because some of the contractors are borrowed so that they can be able to pay. So we have them every time coming to my office looking for, please, I need to be paid this much, I need to be paid this much, because the banks are taking their properties, they are being auctioned and so forth. We have a catastrophe of monumental proportion that we thought through finance bill of this year, the extra resources that would have been raised from the finance bill that you all know now, it's over 350 billion, 349 billion, was going to help us bridge the gap and therefore pay the contractors so that we can at least move the roads. Because you remember in the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, the key thing is complete the pending roads. Yet we are unable to move it because the financial situation has not changed. Now, that is in terms of construction. What happens to the 6,500 extra roads that were constructed at that period of 10 years of the previous administration? What happens? Those roads are not being maintained. So we are increasing the network of the roads. At the moment, we are lucky to have a few roads that development partners are supporting under the Northern Corridor project, for example, the road of Modakashi all the way to Mandera, which are with a few sections in between still looking for contracts, some roads that were going to Turkana on the other side, the road that comes from Isibania to Migori there, all this it comes from Isibania up to Kisii. All those roads are now due for maintenance, but they don't have maintenance money. Let me tell the nation that this is the first year that we had to suspend contracts because there is not enough money from road maintenance levy to maintain your roads. Kenya is now grappling with the idea of what do we do with recently advertised roads for maintenance. People are asking. Somebody was calling me in the morning. The road between Magadi Road, that is between Galeria to Kiserian, it has potholes. And it's calling me and says, Waziri, why can't you maintain these roads? And Kenya used to maintain it. For 2 years now, we are not maintaining it. Why? Because we are unable to meet the budget. The road network has increased. The road maintenance levy has remained stagnating for 8 years. You have some roads that are unable to be covered over the years. So we are facing an actual real problem of financing these roads. Let me tell you even a more painful story. Of the roads of 10,000, most of them were in Kera. Kera, by structure of the Roads Board Act, does not have money for maintaining roads. Because the money that's allocated to Kera, 22% of the road maintenance levy and the 10% road maintenance levy are maintaining the Maram roads. So there is no ring-fenced amount that takes care of Kenya rural roads that are tarmacked. What has happened? Those roads, even some which are still under construction, has not been completed, are worn out before they are completed. If you come from Kajiado, for example, you know the road of Imaroro to Isiara, in Kajiado. Potholes everywhere. In fact, many people are saying, why don't you just remove the tarmac and level it to Maram so that we don't have to suffer potholes? If you come from Nyandaro, for example, you know the road of Boyman to Pasenga. It is completely like it was never constructed. Potholes all over. If you come from Nakuru going to Bomet, the worst road of Silibwet to Olenguruani, it has huge potholes, along the road. If you come from Kisii, you know Kigonge Road. It is in the same situation. If you come from Meru, the Coca-Cola Road has a problem in that town. If you come from places like Nakuru again, Kibunja to Molo, if I speak even from my, recollection, pipeline there to Maunarok Road, the contractor has not finished, but the road is finished on this other end. Because that time there was a decision that we do a low volume seal roads in the hope that we were going to get the budget to do maintenance. Now maintenance is not being done. What are Kenyans saying? You know the roads of Darajambili to Kibuswa, in Kericho, they have a road there called Chepseon. You have roads all over the country that are constructed under low volume seal roads that are actually getting worn out. So, and therefore, we have to do something. You've been told about aging roads. I was told roads age and they also die. If you have a road, you said how many years? 20? Yeah, once a road is above 20 years, you need to remove everything and renew it, regenerate it. If you don't, it dies. And, and I'm told it dies. That's what the engineers have told me. So you have also urbanization. Rapid urbanization is happening. Across the country, when Kura was established, it was only expected to be Nairobi, Mombasa, maybe Kisumu, and a few towns in the country. Now every county has about 3 or 4 or 5 urban roads that have major demand across the country. And Kenyans are saying, you know, this is a city. Why do you have Maram in this town? Why do you still have Maram in this town? Where is the government? Why is the government not doing it? These roads, we can only be able to do them if we have properly resources that have been raised to do so. And then, of course, the worst part of it is climate change and the effects. The rains of December, end of 2023, destroyed our roads. Before we recovered, the rains of February this year, all the way to April, destroyed even further. We've done our assessment recently. The total amount needed to maintain those roads, one off, is 37 billion. Not to mention now the annual maintenance of the roads. Ladies and gentlemen, our country requires a properly maintained roads. The deficit of the money and you are given that is required to do these roads. At the moment, it's projected that we are going to raise in the year 2024-2025 79 billion from the road maintenance levy current. But the demands of the same period is 157 billion. So it's like half. What does that mean? It means that we require an extra 78 billion in the next financial year on top of it for us to at least maintain the roads. This is maintenance. This is not construction. This is not even completion of the pending roads. I'm just talking about maintenance of our existing roads. As such, we need to find a place to raise these resources. You are in your family, you are at home, your children have to eat, you have to you have to do your budget well based on the salaries that you receive. You have to ask yourself what are the basic and essential needs. So perhaps you take care of the stomach first, because that can bring chaos, you know. And then you move kidogo to shelter. So you make sure that you have a room and something, and then clothes will follow. Maybe a blanket is important, and then something of that sort. This is where we are at the moment as a country. Even as we sit now, we are trying to see where do you patch here and there and there. And by the way, the people of Kenya are justified to demand better roads because they are used to good things and they believe that government must be able to do good things. But the same good things that we want to deliver demands us to finance with certain resources. We have suffered the finance bill and suffered 349 billion. We come to maintenance now, we're asking ourselves, how can you raise the maintenance levy to make it close? Because the 7 shillings we are proposing will bring us to 115. Yeah, so you are still far away from what you require, which is 157. But at least when you move closer, you're able to save some of the roads. Our plan is this. Most of the roads that were, like I told you earlier, Maroro, Isiara, and the others across the country that have really been worn out, our target is that in the next, if we are able to raise the resources in the next 1 year, we should be able to restore those roads immediately. Otherwise, we'll lose them completely. And I can give you an example. This Imaroro, Isiara is how many kilometers, Kandia? Almost 80 kilometers. Yeah, I remember. Almost 80 kilometers. Those 80 kilometers, it was constructed using about 3.5 to 4 billion that time of the resource of that time, because about 40 million per kilometer. So you are talking about 3 billion, almost 3 billion was used. Do we as Kenyans want to lose the 3 billion put on a road in Kajiado, in Maroro, Isiara, 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago? Yeah? We lose all of it, or we would rather now maintain it by raising 200 million or 300 million that will restore the road and give us also the usage of that facility for the next few years. This is the real conversation. And I think, and I just want to say with utmost respect, that the conversation that is going on in the country is great. I think it's for us in government who have failed to provide a proper framework where the people can understand exactly their needs that we need in every ministry and how it impacts their lives directly. When we are shrouded in these blocks, the people will not be able to make the decision that they want to make, because this is their resources, these are their roads, these are their assets. The moment they understand that it has nothing to do with the engineer in the ministry, it has nothing with the minister or the PS, it is their assets, then the people will own and maintain their assets. And to be fair to the people of Kenya, everywhere I've gone in the country, people are talking about roads, roads, roads. In fact, if there's something the people are insisting in this country is that we want roads to be done. And because we don't have now the budget for development, I think the soft spot for all of us to raise resources as Kenyans is to think about the road maintenance levy as an increase. But the people of Kenya have said, no, the economy is not good. You know, the cost of living will go high. If you increase the fuel pump, the price of the fuel at the pump by 7 shillings, you are going to create a problem to the country. And it's going to permeate to other costs of living, food, clothing, and other items, transport, because it's a very costly venture. If you add it and it's transferred to transport, then the people is going to pay more. And we have heard you. And the people are right. It is therefore for us to retreat, because we cannot sit here and just say we have made a decision. To retreat, read the presentation that has been given to us, listen to the clips that have been shared. I've seen a very good number of clicks on TikTok that people are saying, you know, Murkomen has done this, Murkomen has done that, let's meet at this one. And I respect that. In fact, I wish I could be in TikTok more and on social media more. I should be, being among the young cabinet secretaries, I should be more visible more in the emerging communication sector, more than even my senior colleagues, because I should be closer to my children in the next generation. I mean the next one, so I should be closer there in terms of that conversation. And I think I have said I am ready, and our ministry is ready to listen more. So PS, we have to retreat, KRB, the road agencies, look at the report and ask ourselves, how do we increase the 7 shillings without increasing 7 shillings at the pump? How is that possible? What can the government cushion in the energy sector, in the fuel sector? What cost that makes the petroleum higher, we can do away with, okay? And the difference, the benefit that comes to that difference, we can transfer to the roads without increasing the current fuel pumps up. I hope you people understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so that today, if I was to gazette the fee anytime today, next month, December, depending on the time that the public participation process is going to deliver, the answer should be this. The day we announce 7 shillings increase, how do we ensure that the people of Kenya do not receive a direct 7 shillings increase at the pump? And the people of Kenya paid us to go and think. They hired us to go and think. They pay my salary so that I go and think. So my friends, the DGs, let's go and do what? Think. We have been left with an exam that says, okay, we want the roads. They have said 3 things. Kenyans have said, we want the roads, and we want the roads to be well maintained, and we will hold the cabinet secretary politically accountable.